Hey guys, and welcome to Fright Night. Okay, and you can already guess, today I'm going to review the remake of Fright Night. As you may already know, I am a fan of Fright Night. I got a Fright Night stand over there in the back that my YouTube friend Dave's Nightmare once pointed out. And I also did review the original Fright Night a couple years back. Here's the original. I also reviewed the sequel too. There's the sequel. And I reviewed those to get ready for the remake a couple of years back, and so I just thought, since there's a Fright Night 2 coming out on Tuesday, I just do a review of the remake, Fright Night, the remake in 3D. Yes, I got the 3D version because I own a 3D TV. That TV over there in the background is a 3D TV. Okay, so without further ado, let's get this over with. Let's do it. Fright Night remake. Okay, so I'm gonna admit, when I went into this movie, I was both excited and worried. Excited because I'm a fan of Fright Night, but worried since it's a remake, so there's a chance maybe the remake could be disappointing, just like some other horror remakes. Some other horror remakes are pretty disappointing. And so I heard this was getting good reviews, which got me actually excited. Wasn't too worried anymore. And after I saw it, I was like, I wasn't, I didn't hate it. I actually did like it, don't get me wrong. I thought this was good. I thought it was one of the better remakes, but I didn't really love it, though. I didn't think it was better than the original movie. So, there were things in it I didn't like. I mean, it has its flaws, but overall, I liked it. So it follows basically the same story of the original movie. This, vampire who moves next door to this high school kid, Charlie Brewster, and of course the vampire's name is Jerry Dandridge, so Charlie discovers that he's a vampire. But of course it's done differently in this one. In this one, his friend Evil Ed, he believes he's a vampire, so he tries to prove it to him, Charlie, but Charlie thinks he's just crazy. And so one day he actually spots him bringing in this girl into his house, but he hears some screams going on, so he sneaks into Jerry's house, and he sees him bite her, drinking her blood, so he actually discovers that he was right, that Evil Ed was right, is a vampire. So he goes to seek help from Peter Vincent to help him try to kill him. But he also thinks he's crazy as well, so he won't help him. So he has to try to take him out by himself. But then he does prove to Peter that that he is a vampire. So of course he backs out first, but then he comes to help him. So basically follows the same story from the original movie. I mean, the things I didn't like about this one is that Evil Ed is actually one of my favorite characters from the original movie. He was a cool character, but in this one, he's barely even in it. So they kind of just cut his role a little too short for me. And he's played by Christopher Mintz-Plasse from who played McLovin in Superbad, so we all know him. And he even says the "Ooh, you're so cool, Brewster" thing from the original movie, but it's not as memorable from the original movie. So I didn't like that they just cut his stuff a little down. And him and Charlie are barely even friends in this one. They're friends, but they're not that much friends. He just Charlie befriends some other people, so kind of leaves him. So that's something I wasn't really a fan of. How they just kind of made him a side character like that. Also, another thing I didn't like is what they did with Peter Vincent. I mean, David Tennant was a good actor in this movie. He did a pretty good job at the character, but what I didn't like is that they made him into a Chris Angel magician. So he's a magician who puts on shows in Las Vegas, and he does these magic shows with these vampire actresses. So that's something I didn't really like. I prefer the original, where he's a host of a show called Fright Night. So and heck, Roddy McDowall was the best Peter Vincent. So so you can't top Roddy McDowall. And Charlie Brewster is played by Anton Yelchin. who we know from Star Trek and Terminator Salvation. Yeah, so he did a pretty good job too. And we got Colin Farrell playing Jerry Dandridge in this one. And of course the original Jerry Dandridge, Chris Sarandon, makes a cameo in this, so that was a pretty cool part over there. Yeah, so the acting was pretty good, like, you know, all of them did a pretty good job. But I heard that Colin Farrell didn't like this movie for some reason, I don't know why. So, like, you know, the acting in it was pretty good. I just didn't like the changes that they did to the characters. And another thing I do have mixed feelings for, something I didn't really like, even though it was a good effect. Like when we see Jerry in like his vampire form, like in his fangs, her scary face, like, you know, they used CGI for that. They used CGI for his fangs, his cheekbones, his eyebrows, like, you know, they CGI'd like the vampire faces. And I wasn't really a fan of that. I mean, the CGI was good, so that's a plus right there, good CGI, but I didn't like that they did it like that. I mean, I thought they just could have gotten, like, you know, prosthetics, makeup, like what they did in the original movie over here. So, but at least they didn't, like, you know, CGI the whole vampire like they did in I Am Legend. Like, I wasn't too big a fan of I Am Legend, I'm going to admit. That was one of the reasons. So, like, so at least they didn't, like, you know, CGI the entire thing like they did in I Am Legend, just the face parts. And I'm also going to say that the climax of this movie was just pretty cool. Like, we see Charlie and Peter, like, you know, both, like, you know, work together to take down Jerry, and like they and since, like, you know, one thing that vampires like don't like is fire, like they show in this movie. So like Charlie puts on all these pads, and then Peter lights him on fire, and so like he goes, like, you know, attacks Jerry right there. So like, you know, he attacks him while he's on fire, and like, you know, he stakes him, of course, and like all the people that Jerry turned into a vampire will turn back, just like what we saw like at the end of the original movie. Like after they killed Jerry, Amy turned back into a human. So that was something, like, you know, that was pretty cool. Like, you know, the climax, like, you know, the action was pretty good in this movie. So overall, I mean, it was a pretty good remake. It's got its flaws, but overall pretty good. Oh, another thing that was good was the 3D. It's like it says back here, best use of 3D since Avatar. Here, I'll try to get it. Okay, hope you can see that. Best use of 3D since Avatar. I mean, I had good 3D. I didn't think it needed to be 3D though, so like, so I have like mixed feelings. Like, you know, it didn't need to be 3D, even though the 3D was good. Yeah, so overall, like, you know, I didn't really like what they did with the characters, but all in all, it was a pretty good remake, and I actually look forward to Fright Night 2 coming out on Tuesday. Although, like, one thing I do know is that Fright Night 2 is not a sequel to this. Like, it's not, like, you know, connected. So it's one of those standalone sequels. And from what I also know that it's actually kind of like a remake itself. So it's a standalone sequel, but it's like, you know, a sequel remake, kind of like Evil Dead 2. So like, I heard there's people who aren't really liking it though. But you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna see it anyway. So just keep a lookout for my review on Fright Night 2. I hope I like it, because I'm just hoping that there's not a Fright Night movie that I don't like. So, and that's about it. See?